Picture sunlight spilling through linen curtains, gently touching wooden floors and worn armchairs, as if the house itself is breathing in the quiet of late afternoon. This is an ageless vintage home sanctuary, where every object feels like it has a story, and every corner was made to comfort the soul. You're not here to chase fast trends, but to slow down, inhale deeply, and let the soft neutrals, warm woods, and layers of vintage textiles soften the edges of your everyday life. This is farmhouse cottagecore sanctuary decor delivered with warmth, intention, and a cinematic soul. If you enjoy timeless spaces that feel nostalgic yet thoroughly livable, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and share in the comments what room you'd most like to turn into your own vintage sanctuary. Imagine a room where every wall feels like a whisper, soft beige, warm cream, and gentle grayish, catching the golden hour light like a sun-kissed blanket wrapped around your space. These aren't cold neutrals but earth-kissed tones that age gracefully, holding their charm for years without ever feeling dated. Here, the floorboards are sun-bleached oak, the curtains are rumpled linen, and the occasional sage or dusty rose cushion peeks through like a quiet memory woven into the fabric of your home. It's a palette that doesn't shout but hums, wrapping you in a calm, ageless embrace. As you walk through this space, you'll notice how the warm neutrals make every vintage object feel more alive, letting hand-carved wood, aged brass, and faded floral plates shine without competing for attention. This is the heart of a farmhouse cottagecore sanctuary, a color story that feels timeless, comforting, and deeply personal. Picture a farmhouse dining table with uneven legs, a faint patina of years of meals and stories, bathed in the soft glow of late afternoon light. Around it, mismatched wooden chairs sit close, as if they've been pulled up for coffee, laughter, and whispered conversations more times than anyone can remember. This isn't furniture you bought to match a trend, it's a collection of pieces that grow more beautiful with time. Carved dressers, buffets with slightly worn drawer fronts, and a sideboard holding vintage plates and linen napkins under a linen runner. Each piece feels like a quiet witness to your daily life. From the living room's armchair with a flattened cushion to the entryway bench piled with cushions and a woven basket underneath, these wooden foundations anchor the space in warmth and authenticity. They turn your farmhouse cottagecore sanctuary into a home that feels lived in, loved, and genuinely ageless. Imagine standing by a window and watching silky linen curtains catch the last golden rays of the day, swaying gently in the breeze like a slow breath. The fabric isn't stiff or sterile, it's softly rumpled, slightly sheer, and layered with a delicate lace panel behind it that catches the light like a memory. As the sunlight passes through, it spills across the floor in warm rectangles, highlighting a woven rug, a couple of vintage vases, and a small potted herb on the sill. The window becomes a living painting, changing minute by minute, yet always feeling calm and inviting. On the other side, a simple clip-on curtain tieback in worn brass or pale wood keeps the drapes just open enough to frame the view without blocking the warmth. This soft, layered window treatment is one of the most powerful ways to make your farmhouse cottagecore sanctuary feel ageless and soulful. Imagine sinking into a sofa dressed in layers of soft linen pillows, a slightly faded wool throw, and a neutral cotton blanket that looks like it's been folded and refolded 1,000 times. Each piece feels worn not because it's cheap, but because it's been lived with, washed gently, and used to soften chilly evenings and quiet mornings. The sofa itself is covered in a light beige or oat fabric that catches the light softly, its fibers catching golden rays like tiny threads of warmth. On the floor, a vintage-style rug with a faded pattern grounds the space, its washed-out colors harmonizing with the linen cushions and basket-woven lampshades. On the armchair, a chunky wool throw is casually draped, its natural fibers catching the softest shadows as the room dims. Every layer is chosen to invite touch, to feel comforting against bare feet and cold toes, and to make this farmhouse cottagecore sanctuary feel like a warm embrace you can step into anytime. Picture the moment when the daylight begins to fade, and the warm glow of a few carefully placed lamps and candles fills the room like a soft blanket. A linen shade table lamp on a wooden side table casts a gentle pool of light over a stack of vintage books, their pages slightly worn from use. Nearby, a small brass lantern or a simple ceramic candle holder flickers quietly, its flame dancing across the surface of a reclaimed wood shelf lined with mismatched teacups and dried flowers. The light doesn't brightness harshly, but wraps itself around the edges of the room, softening corners and making shadows feel kind instead of cold. As night falls, a vintage-style floor lamp with a woven shade stands in the corner, its glow spilling onto the floor like a liquid halo. In this farmhouse cottagecore sanctuary, lighting isn't about task or efficiency. It's about creating a golden hour mood that lingers long after the sun has gone. Imagine a wooden shelf where every object feels like a small chapter in a quiet story. Two mismatched vases, a stack of old books, a small ceramic bird, and a faded linen napkin folded neatly. The arrangement isn't perfect or symmetrical, but it feels intentional, like someone carefully chose each piece and let time soften its edges. As the light from the window slides across the shelf, it highlights the subtle imperfections: a chip on a cup's rim, a slightly yellowed book cover, the soft sheen of a worn brass candlestick. These aren't flaws, they're proof that these objects have been held, used, and cherished in another time. Across the room, a small console table holds a framed photograph in a gently chipped frame, a small plant in a clay pot, and a stack of vintage postcards leaning against the wall. Each vignette feels like a quiet invitation to pause, to look closer, and to feel the gentle rhythm of your farmhouse cottagecore sanctuary. Picture a simple wooden bowl on a side table holding a loose handful of dried lavender, rustling slightly when the air moves, releasing a faint scent that feels like a memory of summer. Nestled beside it, a smooth river stone or a small piece of unpolished marble anchors the composition, grounding the room in something quiet and natural. Near the window, a few dried eucalyptus stems in a vintage jug tilt toward the light, their silver-green leaves catching the sun like whispered secrets. A small woven basket holding a bundle of dried wheat or gomphrena stands nearby, its fibers slightly frayed, adding a soft, organic texture to the space. On the mantel or buffet, a small wooden tray gathers a collection of natural elements: pine cones, a small ceramic bird, a tiny bunch of dried flowers tied with twine. These earth-touched details turn your farmhouse cottagecore sanctuary into a place that feels alive, rooted, and deeply peaceful. Imagine walking along a wall that feels like it's quietly speaking: soft cream paint with a few subtle brush marks, a pair of vintage hooks holding a faded linen apron and a small woven basket, and a simple wooden shelf with a single vase and a small stack of books. The surfaces are calm, not crowded, letting each object breathe in the light. Here and there, a small framed photograph or a small botanical print leans against the wall, its edges slightly chipped, its colors softened by time. The frames are mismatched but harmonious, their finishes ranging from pale whitewash to warm walnut, each one feeling like a small window into a different chapter of your life. Near the sofa, a small peg rail or a row of hooks hangs a few vintage linens, a small apron and a folded blanket, their folds catching the golden hour light like gentle folds in a poem. These calm wall details turn your farmhouse cottagecore sanctuary into a space that feels collected, lived in, and deeply personal. Picture a small corner tucked just off the main room, where a wooden armchair sits slightly turned toward the window, a wool throw casually draped over one arm and a small side table with a stack of books and a tiny potted plant. The light here is soft, wrapping the space like a gentle hush that invites you to sit, breathe, and disappear into a page. On the table, a small ceramic lamp with a soft shade casts a warm circle of light over the top book, its cover slightly worn from use, its pages hinting at stories that have been read, reread, and underlined. Nearby, a small woven basket holds a few more books, their spines softened by time, waiting for your quiet moments. This corner feels like a private retreat within the larger farmhouse cottagecore sanctuary, a place where the outside world fades and the only sound is the soft rustle of a turning page and the faint creak of the chair. Here, ageless vintage decor isn't just about style, it's about creating a nook where your soul can rest. Imagine a small glass cabinet near the window, its shelves filled with inherited dishes, a delicate teacup with a chipped rim, and a small cake stand that once held real birthday cakes. The light from outside glints gently off the glass, turning each object into a quiet shrine to the people who came before you. On the wall above, a small cluster of framed photographs shows faded smiles, blurry holiday moments, and blurred pets caught in motion. The frames are not uniform. They range from pale rattan to dark walnut, each one carrying its own memory and story into the room. Over the back of a chair, a vintage linen napkin or tablecloth is draped, its embroidery slightly yellowed but still clearly visible, hinting at hours of careful stitching. These heirloom touches turn your farmhouse cottagecore sanctuary into a living memory, where every object feels like a gentle hand resting on your shoulder. As the sun dips below the horizon and the last golden light trails across the wooden floor, the room settles into a quiet hush, the kind that makes you want to pull a blanket around your shoulders and stay a little longer. Every textured cushion, every worn book, every softly framed photograph feels like a gentle echo of the life you've chosen to live in this space. This farmhouse cottagecore sanctuary isn't about perfection, it's about presence, warmth, and the slow, steady accumulation of things that matter. By choosing soft neutrals, layered textiles, and vintage pieces touched by time, you've created a home that feels ageless, comforting, and deeply yours. If this ageless vintage home sanctuary inspires you, please subscribe, like this video, and share in the comments what room you're most excited to turn into your own cozy, soulful sanctuary.